From inside the gas station, I was practically gasping for air, trying to calm down enough to think straight. I turned around and peeked through the window, and sure enough, the Altima had followed me into the lot. It didn't pull up to a pump or anything. It just sort of idled on the edge of the lot, engine still running, like the driver couldn't decide what to do next. My heart slammed against my ribs, and I half expected the person to jump out and come charging in. But instead, they sat there for about 10 seconds. Then, without warning, the car peeled out fast, tires screeching, and disappeared down the road we'd come from. Then I walked over to the cashier and told him everything, that someone had been following me for miles, and I was scared out of my mind. He offered to call the police, which honestly was the only thing keeping me from a total breakdown. I stood there for a second, trying to wrap my head around what just happened. I froze, staring at the TV, feeling like all the air had been sucked out of the room. I grabbed my phone immediately, called the police, and gave them my full story again, making sure they added the part about how the car had followed me, turned down the same random country road, the whole thing. The reporter said the last sighting of the suspects was them headed east in the Altima. No confirmed location since then. Instead, I let my fear, and a weird sense of not wanting to bother the police, keep me quiet, and now two extremely dangerous people were still out there. It's like the story was left on a cliffhanger, and my brain fills in the blanks with the worst possibilities. I think about what would have happened if my gas tank had run dry, if my phone had been dead, if I hadn't spotted that gas station at the last second. They listened politely, taking notes, but the more I talked, the more their faces shifted into a look I've seen before, like they thought I was overreacting. They showed a blurry still from a gas station security camera. What really made my stomach drop was that they were believed to be driving a stolen gray Nissan Altima. But I swear, every time I see headlights behind me on a dark road, I remember that night and the gray Altima that could have changed my life forever. Even now, months later, I replay it in my head. I wonder what those men might have been planning to do if I hadn't gotten to that gas station in time. I wonder if they picked another victim instead. Still, they took down the report, gave me a card to follow up, and left after patrolling the area. I told myself I'd never drive those back roads alone at night again, no matter what. But a couple weeks later, everything took a turn that made my blood run cold all over again. The whole time, I couldn't shake the feeling that whoever had been in that Altima had some serious, dark plan, and changed their mind at the last minute. They asked the usual, had I been drinking? Was I sure the car was following me? Could I have just been paranoid? When the officers arrived, I ran through the whole story for them, still shaking. That really stung. I get it. I wasn't physically harmed, but something had definitely happened, and I felt like they were brushing it off. When I finally made it home, I felt like I'd been underwater for hours, coming up for air. I was sitting on the couch, half watching the evening news, not really paying attention, when a segment came on about a pair of men suspected of multiple armed robberies, and attempted murder, and carjacking, all in rural Alabama. My heart practically stopped. I felt it in my bones. That was the same car. My brain went into overdrive. That was them. That had to be them. It hit me like a punch to the gut. If I had called the cops sooner, or given them a clearer sense of urgency, maybe they could have caught those men that same night. It's hard to explain how heavy that guilt feels. The police never updated me, and I never saw another news segment about it, which somehow makes it worse. Those thoughts still keep me up at night, and I'll probably never get closure.